All right, everyone, welcome back to our show. This week we are talking about, what are we talking about? Complacency. So working through complacency as a salon owner. Excuse me. And this topic, we've talked about complacency a lot. I think complacency is what happens when your business is doing okay and you just get comfortable.
Yeah.
And you just let it sort of go. Or if your business is doing well and you think this will just work forever.
Right.
Which
just
is
coasting along.
Which is one of the biggest mistakes.
You're already behind if you're doing that.
Yeah. And so it's going to sting more. And then there's always the businesses that aren't doing that well, but for whatever reason, the owner doesn't know what to do, or they freeze and they just kind of bury their head in the sand.
Which again is the worst thing to do.
All three of them are the worst. I would say if your business is like average, if you're like meh, whatever, it's not going to come as a big of a shock.
You have to always be working forward, right? Moving in that direction.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Because, yeah, if you take your foot off of the gas, somebody's going to pass you. And I'm not talking about competing with other salons. I really don't care about that. It's the world.
Yeah.
It's how your clients perceive things.
Right.
It's how the outside world is changing, and you're staying in the 80s, staying in the 50s for some people that we've met.
Yeah, if you're running a business, you are always working in a sense. Like there's just always stuff to be working through, like innovation. Like there's just so much that you have to keep doing. And if you don't, then you are falling behind.
And I want to be clear too. So there are times where you figuratively take your foot off the gas. Those are your like breaks.
Yeah.
Those
you need
a
rest.
Those are your planned vacations, right? We have a vacation coming up soon. We're probably not going to do a ton of work on vacation. It's not that you don't think about your business. It's not that things don't need to get done.
Honestly, it's usually where I become inspired for our business. I always get great ideas when we're on vacation.
Walking through the woods. Yeah.
Yeah,
it happens because you've removed yourself.
Yeah.
So now you've provided yourself in your mind the opportunity to rest, to heal from any mistakes, because we make mistakes all the time.
Reevaluate.
All that stuff. So let's dive in. So in no particular order, I think we'll start with setting goals. And with setting goals, you want to revisit your foundations.
Correct.
And if you are new to listen to us, or you're not sure what foundations are, your foundations are your mission, your vision, your core principles, that stuff.
Yeah, you want to make sure they still align with what you're doing or the direction you want to be going in.
True. Yeah, and you want to have them, because if you don't have them, you
and there's that,
no
and you want to have them
at all. You're just sort of going back and forth.
So if you don't have them, you need to have them, and if you do,
definitely.
you need to revisit them to make sure they're still like part of your culture, and then revisit what does that look like and what changes do you need to make.
Yeah, so have your foundations. So the next thing I have on here is to continuously learn and develop yourself.
I like that one.
All right, why?
Because I think a lot of people think when they get to a certain level, they don't need to keep working on things and working on themselves.
True, huh?
And they just forget, or I guess I had a big period of that. Like when we were having kids and stuff, I didn't work on anything. I just showed up, which led to my first business failing. So now I continuously work on things all the time. And it gives you new perspective.
Yeah, I think if you just actively search out learning, search out education, and I'm always careful. When we talk about education, I'm not talking about online classes. Online classes have a place, and that's great. But if you're just in the mindset of what can I learn? What new thing can I find? What tool can I play with? Even stuff like that, it just is inspiring to yourself. And it motivates you to keep going. There's value in just exploring things. It doesn't always have to be exact.
Get out into other businesses. See what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. Go have a cup of coffee with another local business owner that's not a salon. That's not a shop.
Yeah,
and
great idea.
See what sort of problems and challenges they face. I bet you they're all the same.
Yeah.
We like to why can I not get this word out?
I don't know.
We like to sort of think of our industry as having its own problems. It does not. And I know that because I've been in several different industries,
Right.
and they all have very, very similar problems.
Right.
Most of it comes down to people. But you're going to face other challenges as well that are the same. They're not that different than your local coffee shop owner or your local laundromat owner or whatever.
And sometimes when you just have that realization, you're able to now pivot, innovate, and do different things in your business because you're not alone.
Yeah. Yep. Sometimes just like, knowing that you're not alone is inspiring.
Yeah, for sure.
Tons of value there. The next thing I had was to embrace innovation. I think that's a big one.
Real big.
It's just...
Everything's always moving and changing and growing.
Yeah,
and
we kind of talked about this in the first.
Yeah, if that's frustrating to you, then get out of doing business because you have to grow, move, change, pivot with whatever's thrown your way. The world is constantly changing, so you need to change with it.
Yeah, even some of the... I was thinking about some of the business owners that we've talked about or we've spoken with who aren't even using software. So like there's one.
They're still booking on paper. And they're afraid of online booking. Like that's my stomach. Oh my God, did you just hear that?
I think, yeah. Yeah, innovation. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. I don't remember what I was saying. What was I saying? Help me out, please.
You were saying that sometimes people are still booking on paper. They're afraid of software.
I need to embrace innovation because this has been the worst episode to record that in a while. In a long while. I'm struggling here to record this. I just keep losing. I have great notes. Just not feeling it today.
And that happens.
So, yeah, if you're like, I don't even know, man. Just fucking do something new. How about that? Salon owners.
Yeah, I mean, pick one thing in your business that you haven't reevaluated or looked at in a long time.
If
and maybe
that's the problem that I'm having, I guess. Wrapping it around for, do people even want it? Like if you're booking on paper, are you even ready for anything? Like you need a whole mindset thing. You need a whole reset.
Yeah.
That's why I'm careful because I don't want to go down these rabbit holes on this stuff. That's too deep.
I mean, I guess
nobody's going to take action. Just take one action, please, for the love of God.
Those people probably aren't listening to podcasts either.
This is going to be our last episode. Yeah, of course. These people aren't even listening to
You're talking
podcasts.
to the ones that are really like, what can I do different? How can I be a business in today's market? And these are just things you can do to play in this game.
Yeah, anything. It can be anything. You just have to take one step forward and there you go. And I've seen things that are like, innovation won't help your business, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what? That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. You could even start with something simple of just, if you're a salon and you have retail, move your retail around. Don't have them all sitting in the same spot. Or maybe you have plants on the shelf. Move those around. Like make your salon appearance just look a little new and refreshed.
I don't know if I'd count that as innovating.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You take a step to just make a change. Most people hate change. It makes them so frozen in themselves. They fear it. So that little change might be just enough to throw them like over the top. And then they're like, oh, that looks good. Okay, what else can I do in here? You know, like that's what I mean. It's just like that.
Gotcha.
Getting the rep in of just making a change that is scary enough. I understand. And that one's super simple. I get it. But for some people that we shift our chairs in the salon. For some people, like that would blow their minds. Like there's just little things you can do to get started of like what it looks like to make changes. And then you can progress into really innovating and doing something big.
Another thing that you can do that will, I think it helps with your motivation as an owner, but get your employees engaged.
Yeah.
Get your staff engaged. Tell them why. I've worked for businesses where
I think that's really important.
Silly stuff is hidden from the staff. Mm-hmm. Like, so new equipment comes in that you're checking out and you hide it in your office. I don't want the staff to see it. Mm-hmm. Why? Well, I haven't looked at it yet. Why are you trying to be like this gatekeeper?
Right.
Just people are excited. Let them be excited. Yeah. Do you not realize
and when
that people being excited is a good thing?
Absolutely.
It used to happen all the time in restaurants I worked at. Like different things would come in, different samples, different things for the bar would come in, and the owners and, well, the managers would want to hide it all. And I'm like, what are we saving it for?
Yeah, let's get people's opinions.
Let's use this stuff and see if it applies. Either way, though, it's exciting for people to feel like they're part of your business.
Right. And I think knowing the why, like when we make changes or are sort of making a pivot in our business, we make a point to have like little conversations like, hey, this is what you see going on. This is what our intent is. This is what we're hoping to get out of it. And this is why we're doing it. And that making them feel included and making them understand sort of what they're seeing, what's going on, that is really, really powerful for keeping them feeling like inspired and excited about what's going on rather than afraid because they don't understand it.
Yes. And just because you're afraid of change doesn't mean your staff's going to be afraid of change. And that might help you get through that if you're one of those people that struggles with the last point that we made. Yeah.
They're probably like, finally, this is so exciting.
Regular self-assessment is something that I have on. Who's calling me? Sorry, people. My phone is off, but it's linked to something. Regular self-assessment. This episode is going to be choppy. This episode is brought to you by hack jobs who are interrupted every 34 seconds. Regular self-assessment is important, especially when you're talking about the first point, which I ended abruptly because I was annoyed. But I don't care. It's a free show. You're not paying. Set your goals. And then even your self-assessment, it doesn't always have to be with your goals. Like look at certain things with how you interact with your team. What is your attitude like? Are you uplifting? Are you somebody that goes in, you show up and your staff is working and you notice all the wrong things and you point out all the wrong things? That's not good leadership.
No.
You can see those things. You need to be able to see those things, but
how you deal with them.
What are you going to do? Embarrass your staff?
Right.
Like, so get over yourself, right? And realize that if your staff is doing things or making mistakes, it's your fault.
Right.
Like, ultimately, you're the leader and everything falls to you. So those are just doors randomly opening and closing for no fucking reason.
I think the point of that, too, is I don't know if people...
This episode was brought to you by two kids that can't leave doors alone.
Really understand what being a leader is about. Like, it's not about you. It's about leading a team.
It's not about you, but it is because you have to continually do better.
Right.
Like, do better. And you might think, my staff loves me. We're like family. First of all, I hate this term, but there's a red flag. You're not family.
No.
You are not family. Stop pretending you're family.
And they don't need family. They need leadership. They need to be led.
I don't know why I'm angry this morning, but here we go. So let's get into it. Yeah, assess yourself. The next one is similar, right? Be open to feedback from clients and staff. So, and both of those, clients and staff.
Yeah.
If your staff has like the courage to come to the owner of the salon and express something that they think could be better or something they have a problem with or something they think you're even doing well. You need to celebrate that.
Yeah, that's huge.
You have to. Or you're going to be wondering why your staff keeps leaving.
Right.
It takes courage to walk up to someone and say, now, if you're listening, if you're a salon owner or you're somebody that's in a leadership position, you might be like, I can walk up to anyone and tell them, great. Not everyone can do that though.
Right.
So when someone cares enough to walk up to you and don't brush them off.
Right.
Do not brush them off. Make them feel heard. Maybe it's not the right time. Maybe you need to schedule 5 minutes to chat. Maybe whatever, you deal with it after work. I have no clue. All I know is that don't discourage that stuff. Or you will miss out.
Yep. And if you are...
And it shows they care.
Yeah. Or say you're in your salon or any business and you're just like, I feel like you can feel the vibes off. then you need to step up to the plate and you need to have some one-on-ones with your staff to figure out what's going on. That is not going to be easy, but that is going to help you understand what's going on. And then that constructive criticism that you get from probably some, not all, should help you really innovate and figure out what you need to do within that business to take it to the next level.
True facts, homies. So we're talking about complacency. Where does complacency come from? It comes from that resistance to change that you were talking about. Most people are comfortable, even if they're uncomfortable. They would rather stay uncomfortable than to change.
Agreed.
Okay.
Go move that plant.
You have to be willing to adapt new strategies, to try new services. And I'm not talking about your hair services, just whatever it might be. You might change something with your marketing, change something with your social media, change your, I don't know, if you've been somewhere for, I don't know how long before you need to refresh your salon, like 10 years,
right?
Maybe.
Probably that's about where it needs to happen. Yeah.
You at least need to clean things up.
Yeah.
You need to probably paint.
Yes.
You need to, I don't know, like go through and see if you can update your lighting layout. Go through and see if your workflow needs anything. And I know salons have big furniture, so it's difficult to change stuff. And we deal with plumbing issues and all sorts of stuff where you're not going to move your sinks in your salon.
Right.
It could potentially be hundreds of thousands of dollars to move plumbing if you're cutting through concrete and all that stuff. And that's very disruptive, but you could refresh your paint.
Yeah.
You could refresh your logo.
Oh, yeah, I was just going to say like a rebrand, something like that.
Yeah, it doesn't even need to be a rebrand. It could just be like, I'm just modernizing this logo.
Because it's now 10 years old.
Like we're still, what are we, 3 years old? So we're Hello Hair still.
Yeah.
But we're Hello Hair of, when will it be 10 years?
2030.
Or
Weird.
2030. So just, be open to that stuff. And if change scares you, you need to make a change. So just do something different. I don't know. Pick a new lunch place today. Do one little different thing.
Love it.
Along with that, you should be reviewing and refreshing your systems.
Yes.
And strategies. So like how your business operates and why. That's all stemming from your foundations. I don't even think we finished that. I was too annoyed earlier.
We laid out what foundations are at least, and if you don't have them, have them. And if you do, then you need to reevaluate them.
If you don't have a mission statement, you don't have a vision statement, and you don't have your core principles laid out, what are you operating from?
Your gut.
Yeah, your gut.
Which is not a thing.
And your gut is wrong. So
it could be right.
It could be occasionally.
But you still need a foundation to run a business.
But it's mostly wrong. We create scenarios that are not what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And rather than like just sit there, got to refresh stuff.
Yes.
So take a look at your systems. Like maybe you have, I don't know, something that could be cut down. I'm a big fan of eliminating steps. So if you don't have to do something in one particular system, try to remove it. Try to simplify things. The more you can simplify things, the easier they are to do. The more things you have that are easier to do, the more compliance you get from staff, and things just run smoother.
I think even with that, like,
what do you think?
You were saying if you're walking into your business and you're seeing everything that's wrong, which you will see, but it's how you handle it. But if you're looking at all of these things that are wrong, now you have to look at, do I have a clear system to explain to people why these things are wrong? Are they doing it because they don't know? Like that again comes back on you. We've just implemented some new systems in our business that I was even faced with, like how to make the sanitizers and certain things. And I kept forgetting. So I'm like, we just need a list of like how to make these things. And it helps me. And now the staff's all helping out because they know exactly how to make it. So
I want to let the people that are listening to this know that this was an argument. So Jen
asked for a long time.
So we have disinfectants, right? Just like every business. On the bottle are directions. Jen wanted me to rewrite those directions, like in my own words.
Simplify.
And I don't know how you can simplify that. I just wrote what
Oh,
was
that
on,
piece of paper makes my life. It's so easy.
So I wrote what was on the fucking bottle and laminated it.
And a bigger, but it's bigger too, so I can see it.
Like a big font.
Yeah.
Well, I can't help your eyesight. I'm not a doctor.
Right, but that writing's really small. Now it's awesome.
You need a magnifying glass.
I do.
Like a looking glass.
I do. It's a great Christmas present. But I know that sounds stupid, but for me, it really made me happy. And now the staff all knows how the few things like that we make for our sanitizers and our alcohol and all that, it's all made the exact same. There's no question about it.
There was never any question in my mind.
There was. Not in yours, but there was.
Yeah.
If you asked like 5 people, they all made it differently. And now...
It's a good thing no one told me that.
Now they all make it the same.
Somebody might have been sacrificial there. I'm like, really? You can't read? Okay, bye.
This is why we were arguing. I'm like, just make the sign.
You could have also hit print and made a sign.
I can't read the damn bottle.
All right, companies, make your writing bigger.
That's a great system you can implement in your business.
It does. So joking aside, it does help to have everything written down, because one day, if you ever want to take an extended leave, like say you were like, I'm going to travel for 2 months. I'm going to Galapagos Islands. I'm going to see some animals. I'm going to see some evolution, right? You want to take a trip and you want to go for 8 weeks. You can if you have systems in place. If you don't, and by systems, I mean tested systems. So we can talk about this in another show, but have your systems, have them tested, and then you can rely on those. And then are you going to have issues when you come back? Yeah,
right.
You are.
They
but
should
guess
be
what?
limited, and
they're not going to be the ones you have good systems for.
Right. Now you'll put in new systems.
Now you have an opportunity to put in new systems. Going off of the systems, create some accountability in your culture. Hold people accountable. Sometimes when stuff happens at our business, like mistakes get made, our team, I hope and I think, knows us well enough that, like I joked in the last segment about the systems, you know, somebody would have been sacrificial. That's not how I actually am. I'm just being funny. But our staff, I hope, knows that mistakes are accepted. I want mistakes.
That's how you learn.
I think it was Elon Musk that said if people aren't making mistakes in a certain division of his companies, he goes and checks in, because there's not enough innovation happening. If you're not making mistakes, you're not moving forward.
Right. Well, and those just expose where you need to grow and what you need to change so that you can help those.
And we're talking about honest mistakes. I'm not talking about negligence or hurting somebody or anything like that. But creating that accountability, our staff will say, like, if you've noticed, like, the air's been left on, like small stuff, right? That it shouldn't be, it's written, but it happens. It's not a big deal, but we'll have somebody that's like, oh my God, I forgot to do that. Like, they just say it. Yeah. There's no need for...
And we just address it. And I'm like, it's not a big deal. It just, I'm letting you know what happened. And that's your reminder to just make sure you're looking at the list before you leave. If you're the last one out.
And pro tip, I'll tell you this.
No one's in trouble.
If you have like a communication software, like we use Slack, but if you have like a Facebook page or whatever people probably have, don't go on there and be passive aggressive. Don't be like, I don't know who this was, but we need to be more careful. No, just address it. That's why your staff's not coming to you.
Correct.
Like, you do that stuff.
In the case of the air conditioning, if you're like, well, how do I do this? So the night that's left on,
talk to the person.
I address so I'll use Slack, but I'll DM that group of people that worked that day. Hey, don't know who the last one was out. This is where it's at. Like, make sure you're checking the list, because I don't care who did it. You don't even have to tell me. Just, this is your day. This was happening, and blah, 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 whatever. Yeah. But I don't go on and just general be like, hey, don't forget to all turn off the AC. Like, people will be like, what is she talking about? You know? So
right.
So that's how because if I might not see someone the next day and I want to address it right away.
Celebrating any milestones and achievements. That's another way to get through complacency. Always having little celebrations. Yes. You're making progress if you're trying. So,
and be proud of that.
Celebrate that stuff. I'm not talking about every day. But yeah, if you guys hit milestones, you hit a year, 2-year anniversary, that's an easy one to look at. If you're working with your staff to build them to a certain point of clientele, like where they're 50, 70, whatever percent full, however you do your stuff at your salon, celebrate that stuff. Little stuff like that. It just keeps people engaged. It keeps you engaged.
And it keeps them inspired, which all translates to everything not being complacent.
True facts. Another quick one is to network and collaborate.
Yeah, that's a
we
good
kind of
one.
talked about it earlier, but other salon owners that we've talked to, from giant salons, in the middle of downtown cities to little tiny salons in freestanding buildings
Yep.
in the backwoods. They all have the same issues.
Yes. I love talking to all of them.
All of us. And you would be surprised. It's eerily similar, the words that are coming out of people's mouths. And we've seen it from 2-station salons to,
Holy crap,
the other
20,
day,
20 something.
24
Yeah.
station salon
Yes.
a few weeks back. The same problems. So if you can get out and make some friends in the industry and just have a chat with them, that might
It's really
make
great.
you guys feel better. And 2 heads are better than 1.
Yeah.
So maybe you can come up with some solutions together. Brainstorming is fun.
Yeah. I think in that case, it's really to look for solutions.
Yeah.
Because that's only how you're going to grow and get better. Duh.
We did touch on this next one too, but staying passionate and reconnecting with your purpose. So why are you here?
Yeah.
And you said you like going on vacation because you always come back inspired.
Yes.
I think that's a big one. Just why are you in this industry? Why did you pick it?
And what's working for you now and not, because that's going to be different than where you were last year. That's why it's so important. Like what your goals were, even the beginning of the year could be different the middle of the year. So really asking yourself that is very helpful to make sure you're on track for your own happiness too.
Facts, yo. So yeah, just even sometimes just rekindling your fire. Like why are you, like I've said it like 3 times, but why are you here? Why are you doing this? A lot of times when we talk to people out of school, it's my aunt was a hairdresser and I always liked it. Or my mom owned a shop when I was younger and I used to go in and sweep the floors. You remember those memories? Get them back in your brain, smile, and then remember why you're here and then go get to work.
Yeah.
Last one I have, and I think this one might blow some minds. Maybe it's so simple, but this is a service business. So what if we stayed customer focused?
Yes.
So
What if
we placed just majority of our effort on our clients and taking care of our clients? What if we continuously sought out new ways to exceed their expectations?
Right. Elevate your customer
Not make
service.
it about us and what toner we chose, but to make it about them.
Connecting with them that's your business, that's your success, that's your long-term success.
What if you connected with your clients in a way that they brought ideas to you because they wanted to see you succeed, and they are out there living in the world? They're in so many other businesses just like you are, but it's hard when you're a business owner to walk into the grocery store and view it as a business. You're like, I just need to get food for the kids and I need to get fucking home.
Right.
But look at it as a business. Look at it as a customer service. Just what if you treated people so well that they wanted to bring all their friends and family to you? Just what if?
Right.
Ask those questions. And I think we should end on that. You have anything else, Jen?
No, I think that's wonderful.
Okay, so pay attention to your customers. And thanks for listening today and letting me be in a bad mood. I'm not in a bad mood, just frustrating sometimes
It happens. It's life.
We try to make time to sit down and record these, and it doesn't always
Yep. We're busy.
go as the flow. Go with the flow. Go as planned. Whatever. Okay, bye.
Have a great day.
Happy Monday.